name is Tirzo Martha and I'm a visual artist. As one of the founders of the IBB, I believe that the role that I play in this whole exhibition project is that we organize it from the bottom till the top. And I also am one of the artists who does a project and all you can art too, and I am also I have also my studio here in all you can art where I make new works. I'm working at Lawrence in Delfshaven, and that's a retirement home for elderly people. And up till now, the project has been progressing quite well, especially because we thought that it was going to be quite complicated or maybe not possible to execute this type of project that we are doing there, because we are making a sculpture, and this it's not like a sculpture that it's just standing there, but it's a sculpture with a function. So, and the idea is that this sculpture has added value for the daily life of the people. And up till now, that's working very good. The people, they are quite happy with what we are doing. Even the elderly people living there, are their participation, even though it's not that actively, like they can use their hands and all of that, but their presence and the joy in their presence at the project is very good. Yeah, for me, engagement is that I dare to be myself, and I dare to be a human being. I dare to free myself from all these cliches and all these standard structures that people nowadays are trying to put you in. It's like you're a black artist, or you're a Caribbean artist, or you're a Dutch artist, or you're a painter. I try to free myself from all of that, and at my death, if someone wants to define me as a certain type of artist, they can do it, but for myself it's not important. For me, it's the most important thing is that I live a life that is free, that gives me that much freedom that I can be a human being engaged in helping each other in order to make our existence, which is a quite short existence on this earth, as pleasant and as fructive as possible. It's quite interesting because it's totally different than working with the students in Curacao, because you have much more time with the students in Curacao, and here you have only 6 weeks. That's one thing. The other thing is the difference in culture, the way people deal with certain thematics, how they deal with their expressions, and how free they are, the goals that they have with the participation in the IBB project. The other thing for me is that it's about sharing, and we don't only share with a certain group, with our students in Curacao, but we also share with this group of students doing the summer school, and at the same time we are trying to make them aware of how important sharing is, so that they can also share what they've learned here with other people. You know, engagement, for example, working with our partners in the project, that's one type of engagement in which we go there to support these people and to do a project with them, but at the same time there's also engagement from their side, because they create the structures and time and the possibilities for us to work there, but also they create the possibilities for themselves in order to achieve much more other things that they would like to achieve in their organization. Based on that, it's very important that we expand this possibility, this structure that can create possibility and space to develop and to participate. And in order to do that, we try as much as possible to involve the public here in the Kunsthal, for them to give feedback, for them to give input, for them to give to contribute with certain action, objects, or whatever they can contribute with, that we can take to the space where we are doing the project, and so that this can have a certain impact or consequence that comes back to the community. So that part of engagement, which is it's a way to play with each other, and to involve each other, and to interact, and to create a way that we can support each other much more better, based not on the general expectations, but based on what our stronger points are. And by using our own stronger points, we can make engagement much more efficient for each other. Yeah, the biggest challenge was the start. How we're going to make a new exhibition project that's totally different than the one that we had last year, because last year it was such a success that you need to do something this year that goes beyond what you've done last year, and also you want to do something that is better, and also something that's totally different and surprising than what you've done last year. So for me that was the biggest challenge, because the working with the people and all of that, you know, that's that you can structure that, you can organize it, but the interest of the people, or the attention of the people, and the challenge to get them here into the Kunsthal, that's something that's totally different. My whole career as an artist, I've used participation in my work in order to create. But I must say that something that's very important in this process of working with people is that you get a better insight in how people are and how they function, and you get a much more realistic reflection of what the community is. So it's not like when you read on Facebook, or you read in reports about how people are, or how they conduct, and how certain groups function, that's the definition of the people. I know by now that it's not true. You know, I know that maybe 30% or maybe even 10% of what is written in all these reports and all these pieces, that's the truth, but the rest, it's totally different. So it's not like you have this general way of looking, of dealing with things, but you start seeing that this generalization of things is not a fact, and it's not the reality of the situation. So that is something that for me it's very important and very basic in my way of working and my way of dealing with people. Now I have this memory. I don't know if it's a nice memory, but it's a wake-up call in the sense that I spoke once with this gentleman during this project at Lawrence, and he told me that he also when he finished with his work and he was going with pension, he and his wife planned to go and make a big trip. They went to France, I think, and they came back to the Netherlands, and here they wanted to continue their traveling. But suddenly his wife got very ill, and she died. And and a big disappointment at that moment, because you know, you try to live your life as good as possible. You try to have a healthy life as good as possible. You go to doctor, you have checkups, you have all kind of measurements you take in order to make things happen, to make it possible, so that you are healthy enough to live long enough to do a lot of things. But at the end of the day, you know, if your body says, I am not going to collaborate anymore, it won't collaborate. So that has had this big impact, because I could also feel and see that moment, you know, and when I was talking with this person, I could feel the energy of that moment of disappointment. And for me, that's something that I am right now taking along with myself, and that's, you know, if I can do it now, I do it now, and if I can do it later, if the possibility is there for me to do it later, I will also do it later. But everything that I can do now, I will do now. And you know, if I can share, I will share now. I won't say I will save it for later, that I can share later. I will share now, and I will try as much as possible to give the best of myself now, the moment that I'm here and that I'm existing. I keep thinking that there's a lot that we can make better. For example, the communication outside towards the public, you know, through social media and all of that should be different, I think. When I see also the little children, the big groups of little children coming here, I also think that we should communicate it better. You know, that it's nice to have the children come here, but this is not like a daycare where we are here to entertain the kids, and the parents are sitting there. They are not even looking at the exhibition. They're just sitting there talking or playing on their phones. So it's very important to create a structure in which we can enhance the commitment of the people participating and working. Otherwise, you know, it's like it's the same, that the information will get through this air and will leave through the other air. So I believe that participation should be communicated better, and for people to know what it enhances, and not that it's like entertainment. Like you kids like to draw, take them to Kunsthal and we'll draw with them. No, it's drawing with an added value. It's drawing to learn something. Maybe it's not the drawing to learn how to draw, but it's drawing to learn what the possibilities of drawing can be for you. So that for me, I think would be very good to do. I am always reinventing myself in a way to order to keep my creative process ongoing, because I think that a reality in the life of an artist is that at a certain point you can easily become a magician that gets another trick out of his head. And for me, it's very important to be aware of that, and to be able to be critical towards myself, because if you're not critical towards yourself, then you know, then you'll very easily get into this structure in which you are a magician getting a new rabbit out of your head. And yeah, basically for me that's the important thing, to be always sharp enough and aware of the reason why you're doing what you're doing, and to be able to develop it in a way that it's not entertainment for you, but it's much more than that. You know, it's a need and urgency, because that's also the problem most of the time, that artists, you know, if they can sell wood, they start making the works that sell wood. You know, the need and urgency to create, to be critical, to be innovative with the work, that all goes there. The big thing that this summer has given me is that I want next year to do all-you-can art in the streets. So for me, it would be a very interesting thing to take this white cube to the public space. So that's the thing for me right now. I have a quite tight planning. I have a sculpture I have to make for CBK in Amsterdam. I have a commission to make artwork for Haagse Historisch Museum in The Hague. I have a book. They are working on a book about me. There is also a film being made about me, Hollandse Meester. And I have a solo exhibition in Museum Beelden en Zee in The Hague. It's a big show. And besides that, I have all kind of master classes and other projects, more theoretical projects that I have to do. Yeah, if you want to experience art, hardcore art, not art like the traditional way, you know, like you go into the museum and it's quiet and it's silence and everything is white, clean, and you cannot touch nothing. If you want a different way to experience art, then the best way to do it is to come to all-you-can art. And all-you-can art it's not an entertainment. It's not like we are doing this big performance. No, this art, all-you-can art is the reality of engagement, the reality of change, the reality of vision. Because a lot of people talk about being visionary, but they are only visionary on paper. And all-you-can art is visionary in action. And for us, that's a very important detail. And with this detail, I want to invite everyone to come and experience the all-you-can art projects. Ayo!